I can't believe you would even read that book. Nerdrotic is responsible for canceling some of my favorite TV shows. Ignore my twin. Nerdrotic is awesome, and so is his book. Hi, I'm Bookbird, and welcome back or welcome to my book channel. Today we're talking about this indie published book, Waiting for Nerdrotic, that's about Gary, who is the mastermind behind Nerdrotic, the YouTube channel. I don't remember specifically when I started tuning into Friday Night Tights, but it has become a core Friday night show to tune into. Even though I personally don't watch a lot of the same movies and shows that they do, I still enjoy the boisterous atmosphere and just the general vibes of the live show. So this book is mainly Gary telling his story before the YouTube sensation that his channel became, his suffering with drug addiction and going to prison, and all the mistakes and highs and lows of his life. And I haven't read a nonfiction book as quickly as I read this one in a very long time. If you watch Gary's channel at all, this is 100% Gary's voice in the writing. This book, while reading, made me feel like I was just sitting down in the same room, listening to him talk about his life. This book is specifically aimed toward those who have suffered with addiction, are suffering with addiction, or know someone who is, and kind of gives them a little bit of inside tips on how to help whoever they know that is suffering with addiction. And though I personally did not fit those criteria, I still really enjoy this book, reading about these things, and maybe some of the stuff that I did read in here could help me help a friend. As a person who grew up as a goody two-shoes and didn't really get into a lot of trouble, going through his recollection of spending time in prison, I was anxious for him through those chapters, even though I obviously knew he was gonna be okay. But as someone who prison was like not even in my hemisphere for things that I would let happen to me, I enjoyed the inside perspective on what it's like to be sent to prison. And also, if you know me and my book taste, I always enjoy when there's like a little tiny bit even of a historical aspect. And Gary mentions the prison system and how the overcrowding affected his sentence. So I thought that was interesting to have also talked about with these few chapters. And I think everyone loves a good redemption story, especially when it's a true story and you get to see someone hit their highs and lows, their ups and downs, and make mistakes. This book will give you honesty from a person who suffered through addiction, and also what recovery looks like, because he talks about how recovery is a constant thing. You're constantly trying to stay away from what took hold of you. And one thing I did really enjoy about this specific, so there's little interludes with actual comic book or graphic novel pages that also explain the story that I thought were a nice inclusion in the book, that it broke up the reading so that you got some other form of media in there. But I also enjoyed the chapters are actually pretty short, and that's also why it was easy for me to like fly through this nonfiction book. Also, if you notice the amount of tabs that I put in this book, pretty good sign that I enjoyed a book, because I want to tab and mark certain pages that something stuck out to me. That's a good testament to my enjoyment. And with every review I've been doing, I've been noting some content stuff or some critiques. So for content's sake, there's crass language, but that's like I said, 100% Gary. So it's fitting for what you're reading. This isn't a nonfiction book that's meant for a younger audience anyway, because the themes are darker, even though Gary throws in humor a lot to add some levity to these themes. But you're talking about addiction, child molestation. There's a good amount of injury description. If that's not your thing you want to read about, then of course there's prison, so you're gonna have all of that kind of prison violence and stuff. So content stuff you're gonna read about in this book if that's not something you want to read about, but especially in the way that Gary presents it. Like I said, he presents it in a way that you're his friend sitting down with him and he's just saying, hey, this happened to me, this is how it happened. Every content thing I just listed isn't a problem, at least for me. And I have the first published edition. I got the pre-order paperback copy, so I don't know if they've fixed anything since then, but I noticed at least 2 typos or errors in my copy. I know they can fix that easily on ebook. I don't know how exactly they fix it in the actual printed version. They weren't horrible. I still understood what was being said in the sentence. It was just like one word typo or a name difference. I think it was a fellow prisoner or something that the name got swapped. And if I convinced you that you want to pick this up and you weren't part of the people who pre-ordered it, like I said, this is indie published through RippaSend. If you're not familiar, I will put the link in the description. Not sponsored, but I'll put the link because it's still there. You can get it on the official RippaSend website. I would urge you to choose RippaSend over Amazon because it's also on Amazon. I will leave those links too, because I know ebook you can get on Amazon if you'd prefer an ebook. I think the graphic novel part of this is gonna look better if you get a print version, but if you prefer ebook, there is one. I think he plans on putting an audiobook out eventually. I don't remember if he's said when yet. You can get this on RippaSend. They are an independent publisher. I personally have had issues with Amazon's shipping methods with books. It didn't matter if it was hardcover or paperback. I got a hardcover book that had the pages like dented in. I can confirm that this book came really nicely packaged, and you really don't have to worry about damage with the way they packaged this book. It almost came in like it had its own like little pocket in the box, and then it had a slip cover, and then it had bubble wrap, and then it was this like nice almost like binder folder box thing that it came in. So I was really impressed with the shipping packaging, and I know I looked at the shipping cost when I pre-ordered this and I was like, that's really high. But if you think about it as almost like shipping and handling, like those old infomercials, you're gonna get a better quality shipping than you would through Amazon, but it's your choice how you buy this book if you want this book. So that's my honest opinion on this book. Let me know if you've read this book, if you have this book but haven't read it yet, and if you haven't even heard of this book, does it sound interesting now? And as always, so I can see everyone in the next video, hit that subscribe button.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get